Hey, this is Matt O'Leary. It's Halloween. I have an album here that's not very scary, but it is really eerie, really haunting at times. This is an album that not only defines the singer-songwriter genre for me, but also just the vinyl experience as a whole. When I think of vinyl, when I think of why I got into this medium, this is an album that comes to mind, and I'm sure many of you are aware of this artist and this album by now, but it is Nick Drake's Pink Moon. It came out in 1972 on Island Records. This is a repress, of course, something that you can get very cheap on Amazon, so it's not extremely rare, but it definitely is something that I think is a must-have in this format. Nick Drake was a complete genius in songwriting on the guitar, but also his voice. Very soft and tender, and this album is definitely his most stripped down. His first was 5 Leaves Left, which came out when he was just 20, and then Brighter Later, and then this one, Pink Moon, excuse me, and I think it is the closest that we get as listeners to Nick Drake's original intention with his music. It feels like we're really getting a closer look into the character of Nick Drake, who unfortunately killed himself at the age of 26, way too early. It's really a tragedy, and his music really hasn't become popular until more recently, as people discovered him. Strangely enough, I discovered him, like many other people did, on an ad. It was a Volkswagen commercial that was probably one of the best ads I've ever seen as far as just being emotional and getting an idea across in just a minute. I also saw another song from here, From the Morning, on another ad. I think it was maybe, I don't know, a phone company or something. But I just knew I wanted to hear more, so I got into him. And as a songwriter, he's completely inspirational. His approach, I think his rhythmic understanding and proficiency is quite amazing. A song like The Road on here is a good example of that. It's one where he's got these syncopated guitar lines. He often played with open tunings, which means you can play, you know, all the strings at once and it's a chord, which is really common in I mean all the strings at once on not holding any frets and it's a chord, which is really common in folk music. So if you like stripped down, easy listening folk music, this is a great album. But it also is one, if you know the story of Nick Drake, that is very, very emotionally impactful. These lyrics are very esoteric, and this guy was extremely withdrawn, a very shy, introverted guy, probably the archetypal tortured artist. And so this came at a time when he was extremely clinically depressed and going straight downhill. This was the first album that he made where he didn't record the guitar and the vocal at the same time, but he was so good at these things that it really usually only took him 1 or 2 takes to get, especially these guitar parts. Because he had really mastered that instrument. Some of my favorite songs on here, Road, like I said, Which Will, which I think is just an incredibly romantic song. So super simple, super simple. Another one is Parasite, which I think is one of the darker, more thought-provoking in the lyrics song here. And then From the Morning, probably one of my favorite songs of all time. This one's a little brighter. The album ends on kind of a happy note, but it's a gorgeous album. If you haven't heard it, you need to. I think this cover is a good representation of some of the lyrics here. He talks very frequently about very everyday, very ordinary objects. So you have like things like a teacup on here, stamp. But then, of course, it's very abstract as well, and you can't quite make sense of all of it, but the objects are common. I really love this artwork. Here, I'll show you the gatefold here. You got the lyrics, and then this picture. And then the back is some other weird stuff. The record itself, it had a sleeve, came with a sleeve. I won't show that because it's very simple, but it's got this nice island label on there, very colorful. When I first got this album on vinyl, actually, that was the first time that I experienced the record as a whole, and that's why it's so special to me, just because of that experience. I don't really know what else to say about this album. It's definitely, it's got to be up there for one of my favorites of all time. It's very inspirational, and I'm sure it's inspired many songwriters, many modern songwriters. Thank you so much for watching this. Let me know if there's another album that you want me to cover or review. I'm just about to make a what I'm listening to video where I go over sort of my favorite songs from this month. I'm going to do this month and also last month, September. So stay tuned for that. Again, please subscribe, please like, please comment on why you love this album, and just let's honor Nick Drake here in these comments. So thank you for watching, and see you later.